Good evening. Today is May 12th, 2022, and this is the monthly ASCA Board of Directors meeting. If this is the first time you tune in, we go down the agenda item per item, and we go around so that each director has an opportunity to discuss, and then we vote on motions if necessary. So the first item in our agenda tonight is last month's email business.
This is Denise. I move to accept the email business last month.
I'll second. This is Gina.
So motion by Denise, seconded by Gina, to approve last month's email business. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, so now we have the system report, and that will be Gina.
Okay, the project to rebuild and migrate both the ASCA system, which is the ADMS, and the legacy web portal is now in its final phases of completion. There have been many complexities and many obstacles along the way. Some of those are both the ADMS and legacy portal were written many years ago and have only had slight updates over the last 10 to 20 years. Many of the workarounds and numerical steps that have been introduced over time require reverse engineering and many hours of rethinking how to best solve the many business processes. One example was the way the titles and certificates were being created for all of ASCA programs. In order to create a new process whereby new programs such as the doc diving could be added, like right now manually, added a significantly more efficient and flexible process had to be created. This could only be done by extensively documenting how each program's titles, progressions, and related rules functioned. We now have complete documentation, including a reusable template for future programs and changes in hand, and that would be sent to all the committees and then reviewed by Ray, and then a quote would be required before it could be implemented or approved by the board. Once again, I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of the ASCA volunteers within each program's committee for helping us with this effort, and also a huge thank you to the membership for the patience shown by all of you in giving us the time to do this project correctly. Another major issue with the legacy system was how the security and privacy of personal information was being handled. In the new portal, we now have secured the data as it should be. In addition, we ran into many places where data issues existed, such as multiple people records, shared telephone numbers, and shared email addresses. As part of the rollout of the new portal, you'll start seeing communications going on for those instances where we expect the users of the new portal to have unique identifiers such as unique email address or mobile phone numbers, so we can protect and validate your data. Let's see, there were many more examples of obstacles that we ran into and had to rethink on how and where to fix it. You may have seen the message regarding dogs' photos, for instance. In this case, we asked the question, why do photos need to be collected for every Aussie? This triggered a great discussion, and the result is now that we have updated that particular policy to modern times. As originally thought, this project would be, I think it was actually quoted as 6 months, but when Martin looked at it, and I believe even Liz said it would be approximately 12 months from the start date to completion. We started development in June of 21, and we should complete the rollout by July of 22. The work team appreciates everyone's patience and support through this massive effort. Please stay tuned for further communications on what we need from you in regards to your stored email address and mobile phone numbers, for instance. And that's all I have with that. And then on that subject of the team, I wanted to ask the board, it's under $400, but for the 4 core members of the team, we would like to do, each one of us have a vest with the ASCA logo on the back and our name and work team on the front. And it would be $110 for each one, so it would be $440 plus the postage. I don't know, do I need a motion for that, or since it's under 600, do I just need approval?
It's probably better to do it with a motion, no matter what. But let's first take care of the system, if we will.
Okay.
If anybody has any questions, and if not, we can go on to the best.
Okay.
Any questions for Gina?
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Number one, Martin was going to go back to Inventive and talk about an updated price structure. Did that ever happen?
Yes, we've had several meetings, and the last meeting, which was just Tuesday, they will be sending over a change order for me to present to the board.
And do you have any idea what that
it
consists
involves?
of?
Yeah, earlier today I sent an email what the remainder of the work that has to be done. How many hours? It would probably be, the rough estimate is for probably another 4 to 6 weeks. Money wise, I don't know until we get the change order.
Okay. And this is always a touchy subject, do we have a total price of what this new system, once Warp 1 is completed, is costing ASCA and its members?
Not until we get the change order, because I don't know what those prices are going to be.
Okay. So Warp 1 is going to have a change order?
Correct. If you look at the weekly reports that I send, we went over budget, believe probably a month ago. Off the top of my head, I don't really remember. So every week I send a chart of what we're being billed, and that shows you the amount each week that's being billed. That's over the amount of the original contract.
Okay. No, I just think the membership deserves to know, once we do have a total, that
Sure, absolutely. I agree.
Okay.
And like I said, we've gone over, because I mean, I cannot begin to tell you the amount of hours that we spend every single day, and the problems, the huge problems that we have, and that we have to work through and overcome, because this system is so outdated. And that's basically been what's caused us to go over. I think Inventive, nobody realized the extent of the problems with the current system until you get in there and you start digging and you find out. I mean, it was like one thing after another that was a problem, and they weren't little, they were very complex.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any other questions for Gina? All right. So thank you, Gina, for the report, and I guess we'll wait to see what this change order brings.
Okay.
So let's go ahead with the vests situation.
Okay. I would, like I said, the core 4 people have put in every single day at least a minimum of 4 hours, and many times on the weekend, and many times many more hours than that. And this project would have been a huge failure without them. So I would like to make a motion that we order 4 vests from Pat's Work. It would have the ASCA logo on the back, and on the front it would have the first name of the team member and Warp 1. And let's see, it would be $110 each, and it would be $13 each to ship, or one bulk shipment of $30. Is there a second?
I'll second your motion. This is Jean.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the purchase of these vests for the Warp Team members, and it's seconded by Jean. Any further discussion?
Liz, I have a question
Yes,
for
sir.
Gina.
Yeah.
Are
Yep.
these all ASCA members?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The 4 vests are those for ASCA members that put in the time?
Yes. Yes, it's Martin, Ray, myself, and Maureen.
Okay. I'm all for it then.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? The motion was
I
seconded by
appreciate
Jean.
everything they're doing. It's unbelievable the amount of time that this project has taken, and I sure hope the ASCA membership realizes that and appreciates it going forward. Thank you so much, Gina, and your team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I will thank them for you.
All right, I'm going to call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. And yes, Gina, thank you. Thank you so much. And please thank the team for us. I know that this has been a major, it has taken over your lives, basically. So we appreciate everything that you all have done and continue doing to make this project as successful as possible. So thank you.
Thank you. And yes, it has basically taken over our life. And I will tell you, there have been many sleepless nights just dealing with these problems. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next item on the agenda is choosing a ribbon company for nationals. So Rick.
Okay. The NAC did some collecting of bids for our ribbons. It's been several years since we have done that, and they have come to find out that Centaur really is our best option, the same company that we've been using in the past. We did have another ribbon company, not just ribbons, who did come in at a lower price on some of the lower level rosettes, but on the major rosettes, they were actually higher. So Centaur is still our best bang for the buck as far as rosettes for nationals. So I would like to make a motion to approve Centaur Awards as our rosette provider for 2022 and 2023. And that is with the understanding that a new ordering protocol will be put into place to ensure order accuracy. It's been quite embarrassing over the last couple of years about missing ribbons, order not being complete. The board knows this. NAC is well aware and is trying to come up with a protocol that will alleviate this from ever happening again.
I second the motion. Denise?
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Rick, seconded by Denise, to approve Centaur as the ribbon provider. for 2022 and 2023. Any further discussion?
I would just like to comment that Central Valley used that company. We were the first ones to use them in 1992, and we used them for 2002, 2012, and 2019. And they did a wonderful job for us. So, and they've done numerous nationals ever since then. So I'm really happy with this decision. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, so the next item is the Nationals catalog formatting. Rick?
Okay. Hopefully all of you have had the opportunity to look at the new formatting the NAC is proposing. This should save us printing cost on the catalogs. It's a new guideline that we'll be using. It will have a index in the back with all of the information, but under the classes, it will just have, you know, the dog's name, the breeder's name, and the owner's name and their armband number. To get more information on that dog, you will go to the back and look through that directory, and you will find all the information as far as the breeders, the handlers, and everything else, the call name. I feel like this is probably a good idea, and it will save us printing cost. So I would like to make a motion to approve the new catalog, Nationals catalog format as presented.
I
I'll
second.
second.
This is Susan.
Okay.
I think I heard Susan, although I'm not sure Rick needs a second, but since this is a committee motion. But so motion is on the floor to approve this new catalog formatting. Any further discussion?
This is Ann. I just wanted to thank the NAC for taking suggestions from this, because I know it was back and forth in terms of wanting to make it more efficient. And I brought forward some suggestions, and I want to just thank them and thank Rick, because I sent them to Rick, for listening and making it improved, yet it was a little different from what they originally wanted. So I just appreciate their listening and appreciate their concern and proactive approach to getting the catalog under control, because it is quite a beast. Thanks.
All right. Any further comments of discussion? And I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Final item for tonight is the Nationals pre-event fees. Rick? Are you there, Rick?
I'm sorry. Sorry, I had you on mute. This topic came out of our spring board meeting, and there was some discussion regarding, are we charging stock affiliates enough for the pre-trials or post-trials? And we took it back to the NAC, or I took it back to the NAC, and they did some digging and did look over it, and they did talk to some past affiliates who have put on these trials, and kind of dug into their budget and their the amount of money earned off of these trials, and it was very minuscule what they were making compared to the work and the events to have. So the NAC would like to, at least for the next year to 2 years, keep the pre-trial, pre-show schedule fee as presented. That is agility, $2,000, confirmation, $1,500, rally and obedience, $500, and stock dog trials, $2,000. So they would like to continue with the current fee schedule. The money is just not being made. It's more important to them to have people step up and host these trials. They are not making a lot of money. We're talking $1,200 to $1,500 for putting on, working, hosting some of this work, especially for the stock dogs. So the NAC would like to just keep everything the same and would just kind of like the board's blessing to do that.
All right, so so there's no motion because it has already been approved. It's just a question of whether the board is okay with leaving it as it is, correct?
Yes, because we had discussed it at the spring board meeting. So
Right. Okay.
it was taken back to them, and they wanted, I guess, our blessing to leave everything as is for the affiliates that are helping us make this national specialty a success.
Sure. Okay, so let's very quickly then go around and let each director say what they think. And
Yeah, I think that's fair. It is a ton of work, and so they looked at all the numbers. I've seen the numbers, and I think it is fair to keep the fees the same for, sorry for 22, but this is for 23. So I think it's fair. Thanks.
all right, thank you. Carol?
I'm willing to follow the NAC's recommendation and go forward with it and see where we go with this at this time. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Denise?
Yes, I'm willing. I think it's a good idea to maintain this and to encourage all the affiliates who would like to or like to put on a pre-show or a pre-trial to be able to afford to do so and enjoy themselves and make a little money for their clubs. We appreciate their support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Gina?
Well, this is for 23, right? Because 22 has already been approved. I would
Correct.
kind of like to look at the numbers because our price for the grounds went up, and did the prices that we're charging reflect that increase?
No, it doesn't. The NAC felt like it was more important to have these extra trials, pre-trials, post-trials, and to give the clubs the opportunity to make a little money. So, no, that was not considered.
Yeah, I would have to actually kind of think about this one because while it's good for the clubs to make money, if it's going to cost ASCA to lose money, I don't know if that's going to be a fair deal. I'd have to think about this for a while. That's all I have.
Thanks, Gina. Jan?
I really want to thank NAC for giving their feedback and research that they've done on this project after our questions to them. And I would go with their recommendation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jan. Jean?
I'm with Gina on this. It's not ASCA's responsibility or job to subsidize affiliates. without, I mean, ASCA can't lose money on this event so that the affiliates get to make money. $1,400, $1,500, $2,000 is not a little bit of money. I know that at my local trials, we certainly don't make that amount of money. I also realize that putting on a pre-show or a pre-trial is a whole lot of work. But that being said, you know that going in. So I would have to see the numbers for 23. I would certainly, and I don't think it's just stock that needs the price increase, probably agility too. We obviously wouldn't want to increase the price on obedience. But I also think, throwing this out there, that having a requirement in our rules that says we have to have pre-shows and pre-trials needs to be looked at. If people don't step up, they don't step up. That's how nationals used to be. We had them, we didn't have them, it just depended. So for 20, I support it going on the same way for 22, but for 23, I think we should look at the numbers before we actually say 100% one way or the other. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jean. I'm gonna skip Rick and go to Susan.
I also really want to see where these clubs spent their money. If they're only yielding $1,400 to come back into their coffers. I just did a rough one for the prices that are for this. And yes, I looked at stock because I know that it is incurring a lot more expenses than any of our other venues. Well, somebody said agility, and that's perfectly fine. And I think we can address that. I know for a fact it's going to cost us $800 a day for equipment. So that $2,000 there might need to be looked at for holding an agility trial. I don't think that that ASCA is going to lose money on a one-day agility trial, because I believe that $2,000 covers the use of those arena, that pavilion over there on the west, and we cover, agility covers the cost of their equipment. So in my quick skinny, I did just a tally of what a full stock pre-show would bring in, and it's going to bring in $9,900 at the fees that they're charging. So even by the time they pay their $2,000 to actually hold the trial, they're still sitting there with $7,900 before they pay for their judges. They pay for their judges' travel. They pay for the meals. I'm really curious how a club only ends up with $1,400 in profit from a pre-show for stock, because as we discussed at the spring meeting, we know that the costs for utilizing that stock on that day are not being covered by those clubs that are hosting that pre-trial. I'd really like to see some more breakdown on the numbers from the clubs that were contacted to say, oh, we only made $1,400 on this pre-show. Well, unless you, I believe, were spending a lot of money on prizes, I would really want to know where your expenses were and look at the incomes too. Look at the revenues versus the expenses, because if a club decides to spend a lot of money on their prizes, then maybe they need to be held a little more responsible for the cost of utilizing the livestock in order to be able to give those prizes. That's just my personal opinion. And I have no problems looking at a potential increase for agility either. I did a quick one there. The ASCA pre-trial last year took home about $5,000 for that club, but on the converse, there was not a lot of money spent on prizes and on hey, here's your welcome gift kind of a deal. So I think that we need to kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at the big picture there. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. I'm okay with leaving it as it is for now, but I think we have to really start looking at these things very carefully. I am really concerned about how much higher our expenses have gone for nationals, and the way that the trend seems to be that is going to continue to be increasing. So I'm really worried. I'm really worried about nationals. So let's. So I'm okay with leaving it for now, but I think we can't let this go just like that, and we need to look at it for future nationals with more detail. And thank the NAC, Rick, for all their work. I know that they spend a lot of time trying to figure these things out. So please thank them for all their work. And that's all I have. So I guess
Can I make
the consensus.
Can I make a comment here?
Yeah, go ahead, Denise.
So one of the things that was brought up when we were having the discussion about the expense to affiliates is the fact that if there is not a show or trial that day, we're still paying for the facility because it's included in that price of the week, and so we would be out that money and also out the fees that go for the next nationals also. So there were other fees that we would lose out on rather than just having them pay that portion. There's money that comes in, other directions from it. So, but I think we could probably look at it again and make those fees a little bit more visible for everybody to see. Just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Can I
Thank you,
make a
Denise.
comment? This is
Yeah,
Jean. Can I
Gina.
make it? So basically, if we didn't have pre-shows or trials, we wouldn't be paying the extra money because nationals period of time would be shorter, so we wouldn't be renting the extra days. Just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. Thanks,
That's all.
Gina.
Uh-huh.
Yep. All right. So Rick, it looks like we're leaving it like it is for now, but I guess the overall message is that the conversation is not quite over.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. It's just that we're already soliciting for trials and pre-shows for 2023, and we need to, before those contracts go out, we need to have a firm price that we can tell these clubs this is what they'll be expected to pay. So we can dig into it deeper for 24 and beyond if need be. And I understand the board's thinking, but as it is right now for 2023, we'll go ahead and keep it the same unless the board feels like we need a motion to do that, and we'll just move forward.
I think, this is Jean, I think you need a motion because I didn't hear, I heard several people say that they wanted to see the numbers for 2023 before they would think about that. I heard several people say, most everybody say, leave it the same for 2022, but not 23. And it seems to me that giving us a couple weeks to look at numbers would be the responsible thing for us to do. That's just my opinion.
Okay. And we'll let the board decide. So the NAC did send a recommendation, so I will send it over as a motion. I move to approve the 2023 pre-trial, pre-show fee schedule as presented, which is Agility 2,000, Confirmation 1,500, Rally Obedience 500, and Stock Dog 2,000. and this is for 2023.
All right,
This is
so
Carol. I'll
there-
second the motion.
So there is a motion on the floor, seconded by Carol, to
No second
leave.
needed. It's
Yeah, no second. Yeah, it's true. To keep those fees for the affiliates for pre-shows and pre-trials as presented. Any further discussion?
This is Jan. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure everybody realizes that almost every day is a finals or nationals. So if there's not a pre-show, we would still be paying for the facility. So just wanted to make that statement. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
so
We
what
do
we're
have
saying is
a signed
but
contract with the facility.
right.
I think
But if every
really
day
the only day that we could save on is probably Saturday if there were no pre-shows or pre-trials that day, because Sunday we usually start with some kind of finals, right? So
And in 2023, I don't even know that we could save there because we have a signed contract for X amount of days.
yes, exactly. We already have a contract. Yeah.
For me, this is Jean. It's not about saving money by not having these finals or these pre-shows and pre-trials. It's about whether we're going to incur extra expense by having them and by losing money on them. So, I mean, if we're using the facility for nationals and finals events already, that the event venue, the location, is not going unused. It's just whether we're going to incur more costs. And honestly, we don't know that right now because we don't have those numbers in front of us.
And
I
Gene,
have a
that's
question. Yeah.
I was just going to
Go
tell
ahead,
Gene
Rick.
that's a good thought, but we don't. This is an affiliate. We don't know that we'll get those numbers. We can ask for them, but we don't know that we'll get them.
Well, you can do like Susan did and make assumptions based on a trial filling and the average cost. You can use the flyers from last year. I mean, and then you look at the price of our facility has gone up. And then, you know, Susan had the rental equipment. So we can make a more educated guess. But right now, we're honestly, we're operating without really any real numbers. And so I, for what it's worth, can't make a decision that way. So I won't. Other people can, and that's fine. That's why there's 9 of us. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
can't either.
Okay. Well, there is a motion on the floor, and we still have to vote on it. So, are there any more comments, questions? If not, then I will call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Gina,
Jean?
Aye.
Susan,
Susan. Okay, so Gina, Susan, Jean. Was there another one?
I thought it was
Okay.
Ann.
Yeah, I thought there was somebody else.
No, I approve. I just couldn't get it unmuted in time.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Maybe it was Susan.
All right. So, any abstentions? All right. Motion carries. I think that we still need to see the numbers though, whether we pass this or not. So, I think that we need to be more careful about what's. I mean, we already signed a contract for 24 and 25 as well, so it's not like we can change days. So we really need to look at, you know, how much it is that we're paying for this, you know, by not getting more money from the affiliates, we're actually paying for. So, anyway.
And I'll request that information for the NAC
I
to
wanted,
really dig into that.
Yeah.
I want it noted as my dissent or whatever on this vote that the reason I voted against it was because we don't have the numbers. So in my opinion, we're making an uneducated decision. And so
I
there you
agree.
have it, Callum.
Yeah, Calla and I have the same dissent. I need the numbers. I don't want to make an uneducated vote. Thank you.
I agree. Susan also
So-
agrees.
All right.
Oh, and I just want to throw this out there since we're throwing out the cents and stuff. We made an educated guess on upgrading our computer system. We can do that, but we can't do this. That makes no sense to me, but that's my opinion. I'm 1 of 9, and I have that ability to voice my opinion. So thank you.
And I'll tell
All
you
right.
my opinion.
Well-
We had numbers. We had numbers.
Well,
We did have
we're-
numbers.
we're-
You're
there's-
correct, but they were incorrect numbers.
there is no, we're gonna get nowhere by discussing this way. The motion passed, so it carried, and I think that we're all in agreement that we need further discussion and further information. I mean, this is for 2023, but we really need to look at it closely.
And I will get
so
that for you. I will get that
Yeah.
for everybody.
And I think that's appropriate to ask for that. So anyway, it seems like this is the last item in our agenda. So first of all, I would like to thank any members who are listening in, and thank all of you for being here. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn. This is Gina.
Okay. Gina has put forward a motion to adjourn and seconded by Denise. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
No opposed and no abstentions. So thank you all and have a very good night.
Good night, everyone.